What's up guys, back in today with another reaction to the Nana manga, this time with volume 18, chapter 66. Just going to recap the last chapter, this beautiful cover artwork, one of my favourites yet actually. I really love seeing Osaka in this, really nice. Quite horror-esque kimono, but of course got a bit of Vivi in there, got a bit of Vivi somewhere. Yeah, great stuff last week. I can't actually remember too much of it, to be honest with you. I think that mostly means it's quite a positive time. The fact that I don't remember too much kind of despair or drama. Had some nice moments with Komatsu, of course, with the gang here. Nice seeing Nobu and Yuri doing well together. Yeah, we had some interesting Reira and I almost said Illumi then. It does kind of remind me a little bit of Illumi, you know, in a way. Takumi. Some interesting Takumi Reira stuff there. And especially with Ren and Reira as well, I'm not really sure what's actually going on between these two. I was pretty comfortable in my thoughts before, but now I'm not so much actually. Now not so much. We had this really interesting interaction. I'm still not sure who this is, but between Yasu's very helpful helper with the fans, again told to fuck off, even though she's actually trying to do nice stuff here. Yeah, not too much else apart from that, I don't believe. Almost just kind of like setting things up quite a bit. I think it was quite the short reaction, wasn't it, before we ended up seeing a little bit of the future again. And there was a rather short ending segment as well. Usually these ending segments are like at least like 10 pages or something, so that was a bit of a shame, but yeah, looking forward to seeing what we've got to cover today. Do let me know what you guys think about this chapter in the comment section. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you guys do like, and subscribe to the... I can't speak very well today, can I? Subscribe to the channel if you do want to keep up to date. And we'll switch over to this so we have a little look in colour of what we can expect. I think that's just like a fan sub thing. Cookie. That's nice artwork. Does Osaki have yellow? I don't know. These are like yellow eyes, aren't they? Hazel. My eyes are hazel, although they look green a lot more of the time than they look brown. Mine have like this like the under part is like I'd say like 70% of like surrounding my eye under is like green, and then there's like a brown kind of tip on the top. They're not like bright green though, so they probably look brown for you guys on here. I wonder if you guys can actually like see. I've never tried it. No, I don't think you guys could. I don't know, you can see decently. I swear they always used to be brown though, my eyes. And then they randomly, like one day I like looked and like, oh yeah, you know what, actually they're not actually brown, are they? Again, maybe it was that thing. I've spoke about my like drug habits and such before on here. Maybe it was that thing of like, again, I didn't really care about myself, so I didn't actually really notice my true eye color. Again, this sounds really sad, but I didn't even really like smile. Like every time I wanted to smile, I'd like try and hide it and such when I was growing up, just because I just hated my teeth and just like, yeah, didn't want to show anyone or anything, and it's just quite sad it sounds worse than it was. I did like laugh and smile. I had a fun childhood for sure, but yeah, it was like I never really learned how to smile. I still even feel awkward like smiling and such now. Like smiling just sounds like a normal thing people do, but to me, I don't know, I feel weird when I like try and like smile on purpose, if that makes sense. Like if I'm brought to a smile, then yeah, it's absolutely fine, but I can't like put on a fake smile or anything like that, or like purposefully like smile at someone, because yeah, it just feels weird. Toko de moyo. Oh, Toko. Is that toe? I don't know. Or Doko. I think that might be Do actually. I don't know. I think without the lines, that's toe, but I don't know. It's been a while. It's been a long while since I tried studying Japanese. Years at this point. Doko. Doko demo yokata yokatanda. So Toko or Doko demo yokatanda. That's like thank God for something, I think. Yokatanda. Like thanks for it or something like that, right? Thank God. Not even gonna try this. I'm gonna try that. We'll see how close I was. Any place would be fine. So I guess that meant be fine in this instance. So that is Doko. Doko demo yokatanda. Any place would be fine. We'll read that in a minute. We're purely on this website for the covers, which is almost like the black and white anyway here, actually. Quite muted. Who is that, do you reckon? Nice artwork again, though. But yeah, we'll now switch over. And there's another cover here, actually, as well. Some feet action for Komatsu. For all you guys. I like that stuff. I've never been a feet guy. Okay, I've just mentioned this before. I'm much more of a leg guy. I guess that's my weird kind of kink. I guess I really like legs. Like I don't get off to legs, but I love a woman with nice legs. And that's really sexy. They don't have to be the same. I like people that go to the gym, like quite built legs, but I also quite like I like all types of legs. There's definitely some I don't like. I remember in high school, there was actually a girl she was reasonably attractive. Looking back, maybe I should have pursued it, but the only reason I didn't pursue anything was because I didn't like her legs. That was literally the only reason, and she was a little bit pretentious. But yeah, the only like physical reason was because I didn't like her legs. They didn't fit her body. That sounds very weird to say, but if you saw her, you'd probably think the same. I hope they just like didn't seem to fit her body. I don't know. But I like quite thick legs. I like quite thick legs. I like quite built legs. I don't mind quite skinny legs. I don't really care too much for legs that like. Again, this sounds really weird. It's really weird in general, to be honest with you, going on about this stuff. Please just skip if you are weirded out. But I don't really like legs that just look like a bone and then like skin behind it, if that makes sense. Like there's just like certain legs you can see that just like you can see the bone and then you just see like skin behind it. Like I don't know if people don't like walk a lot or don't do much exercise or like like skinny legs that just again look like just bone and just a bit of skin behind it. Really, kind of, I don't feel too attracted to. It's not the first thing I look at in a woman, but that definitely was a big factor growing up, as I just mentioned. Not so much as an adult, to be honest with you. I don't really care too much. It much more is about like it sounds again maybe quite pretentious to say, but and you always get told like personality over looks and such. As a teenager, it was much more like 80% looks, body, sexual appeal, and like 20% like who they are as a person. Whereas that does actually like as you become an adult, I think that does actually stretch out a bit more to like 30, 40, 50. more than 50% of what you care about in a love interest. I haven't really had a girlfriend or anything for a long time, to be honest with you. I can't actually, like, I don't think I'll be able to handle it right now, if that makes sense. I don't think I'm in a position where I should have a girlfriend, if that makes any sense. I'm not sure anyone should. I don't think there ever should be like position you should be in to have a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. But I just feel like I would, yeah, it would be a bit too much for me at the minute, and I've felt that way for a long time. So I've got to at some point not feel that way, but I don't know when that'll be. It has been quite a while since my last girlfriend, to be honest with you. I did have, I wouldn't say painful experiences growing up during my teenage years, but I had quite a few experiences with not just failure. I failed a lot of times, don't get me wrong. I've had my more than my fair share of denials and failures, but more so of actually kind of succeeding and then not so long after / very soon after having something bad happen, or yeah, I don't know, one of those things. I remember one girlfriend, sorry to do this at the start, but one girlfriend, I was just for whatever reason I was just like, yeah, I'm busy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I wasn't busy every day. Obviously, you actually make time for the people you care about. Is the thing, isn't it? You everyone's always busy. It's just, again, who you actually make time for shows who you really care about. And yeah, I don't know why. I just like had a girlfriend. I just didn't want to see her. I don't think I really want. She was quite a, I wouldn't say forceful, but she was a bit of an Osaki, perhaps quite aggressive. So, I'm not sure I actually wanted her as a girlfriend. She was reasonably pretty. Wasn't the prettiest girl I ever dated, but yeah, she was slightly. Maybe I was just like too scared to say no. To be honest with you, is probably what happened there. And I was just like, yeah, I can't actually see you at all. Goodbye. And it just kind of like naturally like fizzled out. Enough of my teenage love life though. Jojo Beat, volume 18. 70-page bonus story with Takumi. I am hoping they did kind of tease that perhaps a little bit, didn't they? I hope that's the case. I think that's Raya and Takumi right there, isn't it? I remember this one time, this girl I really liked as well. I really like this girl. Me and my friends we both liked her, and I wouldn't say she was kind of leading us both on, but looking back, she was kind of leading us both on. And she actually had a boyfriend as well. Funny enough, she did break up with him, and then my friend ended up going out of her, so I was the big L in the whole situation. But I feel like that actually came about because when she did have a boyfriend, I walked her home one day after school, and she was like, "What would you do if I kissed you?" And I was like, "Oh my god, this is like an unanswerable question." She's got a boyfriend, but obviously I'm romantically interested. Unfortunately, again, I feel like maybe movies and such have had too much of an effect on me in like a heroic standpoint, because I was just like, yeah, I wouldn't do that to your boyfriend. Well, maybe I just should have. I feel like a big percentage of teenagers would just do it, especially if they liked the girl for as long as I did. So yeah, I said no, and have we ever kissed? And yeah, she chose my friend after that. So maybe that was a thing of it was again unanswerable, because if I said yes, she would have been cheating on her boyfriend, and someone who cheats on their boyfriend will likely cheat on you as well. So that would have been a negative. So maybe it was actually good overall. And I guess what I done was probably made her feel bad, that she probably thought that I didn't want to kiss her. Maybe something was wrong with her or something. So that probably turned her off or something like that. I don't know. It was a pretty cruel test, I felt like. It was a pretty cruel test. Yeah, we got 4 chapters as usual. Not all too long, 40 chapters each. So there's one that's 60 chapters. I was going to say, like, the last few chapters in general have felt quite short. I'm not sure if it's because there's usually a lot of dialogue and there wasn't as much in those last couple of chapters. But yeah, we've got 2 40s here. 40 pages, then 44, and we've got about 58 pages, near enough 60 pages here. And then the last chapter is only 36 pages. So yeah, 3 kind of reasonably short chapters, and then one big one in the middle, and then one 70-page chapter to end off on. I guess that's the compromise, isn't it? We've got a 70-page bonus chapter, so yeah, I guess that adds up. But I imagine I've already ranted on for about 10 minutes already, so maybe this won't be a quick quick reading, but should probably be a quick reading, so I expect that. I think this is just, well, I'll read this anyway. Nana Hachi Komatsu and Nana Osaki meet by chance on a train headed for Tokyo. Their personalities and environments they grew up in are very different, but by fate or by chance they meet again and become roommates. As the new year approaches, Trapnest goes to England to record. England. England. How do Americans pronounce England? I think they do just pronounce it England because they speak English and they call it English, so it should just be pronounced England, I hope. I always do find the saying American English quite funny. While Blast prepares for a Christmas Eve thank you party for their fan club, Ingerland. I do quite enjoy the American accent of an English person. I do find that quite funny. It's always like proper fucking like London. They do talk horrible in some places, like Birmingham. Watford is one of them. I don't really know if I've got an accent. I definitely sound English for sure, but I don't think I've actually got an accent. I am actually part Romany as well, I believe. I think my dad's side are all gypsy travellers. So yeah, that comes in somewhere. I don't really know too much about that. My dad is fascinated by that. He really loves looking into his past and his roots and origins, and I do find it quite interesting, but I don't really know too much about it. So that's why I'm a bit more kind of olive coloured than most people, I think. And I used to be called like Mexican when I first got to high school, and I really didn't like it. It's not really too much of a, it's not really derogatory or anything, but I really didn't like being called Mexican when I was a kid. Felt like people were like picking on me, but looking back, I probably shouldn't have got too distressed about that. I didn't get majorly distressed, don't get me wrong. I didn't say it. I didn't bring it up or say anything. It's just kind of, as a guy, it's just one of those things you take. You're just like, oh yeah, I guess people call me Mexican. I'm slightly dark, like I'm white as hell, don't get me wrong. But I'm a slightly different shade, and I had a moustache, so yeah. On the guest list is Misato Uehara from Osaka. I did forget to read a bit there. Trapnest goes to England to record. I can't really do a really London accent, to be honest with you. I can't do it. Well, Blast prepares for a Christmas Eve thank you party for their fan club. On the guest list is Misato Uehara from Osaka. When the other Misato, Mai, finds out, she tries. I love the fact that fake Misato is Misato Uehara, but the real Misato Uehara is actually called Other Misato. That's a bit of a piss take, isn't it? I'm actually the original Misato. When she finds out, she tries to keep Nana and Misato from meeting, but they do see each other at the party, and Yasu starts to realise that the two girls are related. Around the same time, Karata, a photographer for Weekly Search, pays a visit to Hachi and tells her that Nana's mother is still alive. Provoked by Karata, Hachi departs on a mission to Osaka, but Nana's mother, Misuzu, denies that Nana is not her daughter. When Search publishes an article about the Uehara family, Misuzu disappears again. Of course, Hachi reads the magazine article. It does make you wonder, was Misuzu like, did she gain infamy? I'm playing Fallout right now, so that's probably what I've done that saying. Did she like gain infamy? Was she in the papers during the time she left Osaki then? As well? If something similar happened, was she in some kind of other scandal? You could find out. She was in a bit of a love, kind of slight love scandal and such we did hear about, but I'm not 100% all the details of that, to be honest with you. Of course, Hachi reads the magazine article. Realising how Nana must be feeling, Hachi insists she'll stay with Nana till Ren returns. The new year comes, and Blast is doing great. But for the complete story, check out every other volume. I love that. It's just like, is that not just absolute common sense? Who starts a story with volume 18? To be fair, there are things like that, but yeah. The key to your whereabouts. Well, this is a very different subtitle than what I read a minute ago, isn't it? The key to your whereabouts, which I couldn't find no matter how hard I looked, finally in my hands. Now that I've stopped searching. Oh, that's the end to the last volume. Will you let me open the door? Yeah, this is actually the end to the last volume. Here we go. Any place was fine with me. Yeah, I'm not sure that's the most accurate subtitle from what I read in Japanese. Although, again, there's a few interpretations of that, to be fair. I feel like fine with me is definitely not what... I forget what it was in Japanese, but the yokata stuff. Like, when you say yokata, it's usually like, thank God. Or like, very good. Or I'm glad that happened, or something like that. It's not usually fine, but again, maybe that's me misinterpreting it, I don't know. Any place was fine with me. Maybe this is a bit more poetic in English, I don't know. As long as I could see the sea. Chapter 66. Cursed chapter right here. Reckon something terrible is going to happen. Obviously, there's never going to be a chapter 666, so this is as close as we'll get, I think. Chapter 66, the cursed chapter of Nana. So, like, do these pages, like, we got 40 pages or 50 odd pages for this today. Do these count? Does this, like, well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages of almost nothing. Does that count? I'm not going to be happy if it does. Is this in the future again? Yes. I got that. England? Looks like Osaki really liked England. Do you know what? Looks wise, she was a big fan of the Sex Pistols and stuff. I feel like Osaki would fit in pretty well in England. We've definitely got like a polite side to English people. Like we always like queue up and stuff like that. We've got like that side, like the Canadian kind of slightly Japanese side of. Usually, a lot of English people are nice and respectful, and again they do like form orderly queues when necessary and are organised. There's also a chaotic side. There's like a lot of places. There's a lot of crackheads, a lot of irritable people, a lot of dickheads. There's a lot of, I feel like even more as time goes on, it sways more from that to like more dickheads, horrible people, selfish people. Just yeah, places like London, places like Birmingham, London, shitholes with idiots. Feel like you see more of them about nowadays than you did. But I feel like Osaki would actually fit quite well. She's like a bit of both. She's like a nice Japanese side, but personality wise she is quite flary and such, and I think she would actually fit in pretty well in England, so I don't even understand why she moved to England if she does live there, which might be the case. Looks like she like does this maybe on weekends. She like sings at this bar on weekends and that's like her job. If I was in Japan, I definitely would have moved to England. Well, I don't know about that. I wouldn't be able to handle Japan's workforce, so I probably would move elsewhere. England's a pretty good place for immigrants and such to live, actually, I think. We've got quite a few immigrants and lots of different nationalities here. Not as many as America, I don't believe, but it's pretty dynamic race-wise in England, so I think anyone can like fit in. But like I said, you're always going to have idiots and racists and stuff like that, and just like the people you hear are usually the idiots and the like people who think their opinions are more important / better than everyone else's. So feel like everywhere has that, but like I said, I feel like England definitely got a lot of idiots as well. England? What were we used to be called? The Saxons or something? Britannia. The Anglo-Saxons, I think it was. The Jutes. Oh, this is just a group of English people. Okay. The Anglo-Saxons, or the English, or the Saxons of Britain. I don't know an awful lot about English history. Of course, we did learn history, but history was always one of my worst subjects. I always just like, especially during my delinquent days, I always just thought, what's the point about learning about the past? I mean, obviously, it's actually very interesting to learn where your origins come from, but I always just thought, what's the point in learning about the past when we'll never go back to the past? The past, like, shapes how our future is, but it won't actually affect anything anymore, if that makes sense. But of course, I've learned better. Like I've mentioned plenty of times, I had a whole kind of personality shift from like 16, 17 to 18, 19, 20. My friends, like from then saw me now, they would, and they'd say I'm a completely different person, and I lost quite a few friends I used to be friends with because I don't want to do the sad or the bad influence, but they used to be like doing loads of drugs. I've mentioned plenty of times they still done drugs and stuff, and I just again I changed, so I didn't really have too much in common with them after I changed. So yeah, I lost quite a few of my friends, good friends as well. It was a shame. They were really good friends, but again, I just like I kept hanging out with them and such. I just like I knew I would have been like doing drugs and stuff still, like smoking still to this day and stuff. So yeah, sometimes you got to be selfish. Well, we don't know that for sure. You can hear a man's voice in the background while Nana's singing. He probably works there. Yeah, he's speaking British English. So yeah, I've just had a look, and it looks like I've already been recording for half an hour, so won't be going on too many more rants. It looks like I was actually talking a lot longer than I expected. So apologies about that. He's speaking British English. British English? British people speak a totally different kind of English than Americans. Really? I didn't know that. Well, is it totally different? I feel like it's actually very similar. There's just a few slang words. I think the slang is especially different. Other than that, other than like slang, I mean, there's like different names for chips, crisps, for example. Chips, crisps, pants. American pants are just trousers, whereas in the UK, pants are underwear, stuff like that. I feel like there's way more similarities than there is differences, so I wouldn't say totally different, but I do find it quite funny. I said I stopped chatting shit, but I do find it quite funny seeing Japanese people who learn English. You can very much tell who's learned English from an English teacher to an American English teacher. They got very different accents. I think that's quite funny to listen to. I think the American English sounds more natural to a Japanese person from a Japanese person. I feel like the British English actually sounds like a little bit strange to me. Maybe that's because I'm from Britain. But it doesn't. It just feels a bit weird. Really, I didn't know that. I'm amazed you can tell the difference. Or are you just stupid? Well, I speak British English. Yeah, a lot of people in Europe do speak English. Again, I used to have a friend from Sweden that spoke pretty damn good English. I couldn't tell he wasn't. I wouldn't be able to tell he was Swedish if he didn't tell me. He was probably like ginger as well, so not exactly what I think of when I think Scandinavia. Yeah, it makes sense. I guess that in would know English, but with a bit of a Swedish accent. Oh, sure. I think there's a good chance Nana's in England. Just because there's a British accent on the tape doesn't mean she's in England. But think about it. Most people wouldn't move to a country they know nothing about. Nana was so influenced by British punk, like the Sex Pistols and Vivienne Westwood. Is Vivienne Westwood British punk? Again, funny enough, I mentioned the girl I was talking about earlier who asked if I'd kiss her, what I'd do if she kissed me. I say I denied. She was obsessed with Vivienne Westwood. Yeah, I did mention that, and I think surely you can. Well, I say the name of the club or pub or bar that she's working at, whatever it is, it's not a very normal British name for like a bar or a club or whatever, but again, it was just like the King's Head or like the Queen's Dog or something like that, something along those lines. Still, even saying that, I think you should be able to tell that that's like a British pub, bar, whatever. You probably heard lots of stories from Ren too. I bet she's in England too. Then let's investigate. So these guys are like, as adults, are like now investigating what the fuck now Osaki's up to. Interesting, now, isn't it? That's some good friends right there, to be honest with you. Be real with yourself here, guys. Would you expect your friends, if you just like upped and moved away, would you expect your friends to meet up like this and have like a search party for you abroad and investigate you? I feel like that's a pretty extreme to go to, isn't it? Again, just shows how much they care about her. I think if you can say that, I think you've got some very good friends. And let's investigate to see if this pub in England really exists. It's got to be easier than hunting her down. England's a big country. It won't be easy. Is it? It's not that big a country. It's actually quite a small country. England, especially. The UK is like it's all right sized. England is actually like, it's not that big whatsoever. Actually, is it? Give me a smoke. Like traveling from country to country in Europe is like just traveling states in America, I believe, isn't it? So with that comparison, it's especially tiny. Yeah, let's start with seaside towns. But England's surrounded by water. There are a million towns like that. I live quite near some towns like that. But at least now we have a clue. Yeah, and I think it's only like a 20 minute drive for me to reach like the coast. At least we know Nana's alive. And why would you think that she's dead? What caused these guys to think that she was dead? Is a question I've got. I did just spill my water on myself. Brilliant. I can die whenever I want. As long as I know the sea's nearby. It takes the edge off, and I can live for another day. Looks like she's struggling in terms of life. Looks like she is struggling. I think if you were, I mean, I don't think this is exactly the case for Osaki, but I think if you were in a position of you being, like, I don't think this is the case whatsoever for Osaki, actually. I think she's just doing what she loves here. But imagine you went from a position of being in Blast, being one of the top, if not the top kind of band in Japan at this point. And going from that to working in small pubs and bars in England, that's quite the fall off. But again, I don't think she's doing it because of necessity. I think she's doing it because she wants to. Maybe it is necessity, who knows. But what happens for you? Like, what have these magazines and such published that has made Blast no longer a thing and have ruined them? Especially when they actually kind of want them to succeed in a way. Maybe it wasn't them. Maybe it wasn't the paparazzi. Maybe it was actually Nana, who just ended things and just like, who knows, man. Who knows? But yeah, it definitely seems like she's struggling with life at the minute. Yeah. From these scenes, it does feel like that was a million years ago. Just teenage punksters. Just rocking out. No big, we had fans like Misato, but no big contracts, no big, feels really nostalgic, doesn't it? No big kind of, no album, no publicity, just like a nice concert. Feels quite nostalgic, that, doesn't it? Now, what chapters was that? What episodes was that when we saw that stuff? It was very early on, wasn't it? Between like episode 4 and like 7 or something, I think. But kind of just want to go back to those times, don't you? But that's very common in humans in general, isn't it? I want to go back to nostalgic times, but especially here, it's just like, made this your job. I kind of feel like maybe the same with YouTube. Like, if it does end up, like, it's still not really a job to me or anything at the minute. I don't get paid enough for it to be a job, don't get me wrong. But the minute it kind of feels like a job and you do stuff you don't want to be doing, it's just like, it does move from that kind of pleasure and that hobby to actually just being like, every time you think about it, it's actually work now. And it's just like, you ruin things by doing that, I think, sometimes. As long as I play guitar, I'll be happy with you singing. I love that song. It's the best song in the world. This fucker's got a knife. Oh no, that's the guitar. It kind of looked like he was holding a knife. I'm in love with you. Yeah, what's Yuri up to right now is another good question. Is he perhaps? No longer dating, perhaps? Hopefully. He can't have it in the past, but maybe in the future we can have a bit of Komatsu and Nobu. I'm not sure how old they are right now. I think it's only been like 5 or 6 years, judging by the age of Komatsu's daughter. But he's still wearing things like this. Do not grow out of things like this at some point. I have to play it sometimes. A guitar must be lonely without her. So it's like with teenagers again. Should you be leaving your kid alone? Pretty late. What? Although Komatsu is a single mother now, much less haunted by the male species. I think that's actually just a fact, isn't it? I feel like single mothers are actually just like less wanted by men. And I think that says more about men than it does about women, doesn't it? The extra responsibility cannot be handled. I don't know how I'd feel about that. There's obvious kind of thoughts about the child obviously not being yours. Have a look after someone else's child, another man's child. I wouldn't say I wouldn't ever rule out. I don't think. I don't think you can rule out anything in life, can you? Don't worry about me. Go home. Satsuki's fine. She's been visiting her grandparents since New Year's. Oh, just Satsuki? I was really busy doing people's kimonos during New Year's, so I couldn't watch her. But I'm going to pick her up tomorrow. Oh, you're helping dress people in kimonos too? You're busy. What about you, Nobu? It's winter break. The hotel must be busy. He's back working at his parents' hotel, is he? Again, how do you go from being like one of the top stars in Japan to going back to working at your parents' hotel? Yeah. But Dad's fine now. He complains about everything I do. Treats me like I'm in the way. But Dad's fine now. What happened to his dad? I don't know if he'd rather me take over the biz or get lost. We did hear that. I didn't realise this was the case, but we did hear that Nobu comes from obviously his family runs this hotel. They're pretty well off, supposedly. So that'd be a good life for him. But again, how do you go from like being a major star to nothing? I say nothing, but like in terms of celebrity kind of status and such, it's honestly pretty awesome in a way. The fact that you can go from having that much fame and an influence as such to nothing is pretty incredible, because a lot of people can't get out of the spotlight, if you know what I'm saying. A lot of like celebrity stars and stuff, the thing they'd love to do is get out of the spotlight, but they can't, even if they wanted to. Is club biz booming? Yeah. There's a lot of musicians in my hometown now. Lots of talented young punks. It's fun, it's meaningful work. I like it more than running the hotel. I'm sure 2 great bands of music history came out of your town. That's a big deal to kids. Kids who worship Blast and Trap Nest are old enough now to start their own bands and play shows. Well, that's a little depressing. But I guess that's also the fate of Trap Nest as well. This Trap Nest is also finished now. Also, like, how do you go? Like nowadays, we see like bands go over decades, like and singers like go for decades, don't we? In their fame and popularity, like from like the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, like these guys really weren't around for long. I guess you would actually rather be much more impactful and around for a short time than around for a long time and not have the impact. But it like something caused them to stop. Obviously, so like it's just, what is that? Is it the paparazzi? Was it their own personal choices? Did they want to be more comfortable and go back to this being a hobby for them? And if so, how did they get out of being pressured not to quit by the agents and the agencies and stuff like that? Like, how do they? Yeah, so many questions, isn't there? When I think about it, it makes me feel old. What I just said. Well, if that's true, then what we did wasn't for nothing. I'm just happy to see all these kids getting into music. One more day. I'll do my best for one more day. Keep on living this life. What about Ren? Is he alright on his own? Yeah, he's in England again. Over at Takumi's place? Oh. I haven't seen him at all. He didn't come to last year's fireworks festival either. He's doing fine. Is he playing guitar? That's all he does. Sounds like when your parents are talking about it. So how is it that we know what Ren's up to and what he's doing, but no idea what Osaki's up to? I think that might show what's happened between those two. Probably split up. I think that was always coming, wasn't it? So it's not really a shock. Interesting that. The fact that, I mean, Nobi might not keep up with it anymore, but again, that pretty much confirms Ren is at least not part of Trap Nest anymore. Again, what would make Takumi, what would cause Trap Nest to break up that even Takumi couldn't like salvage or keep together, which is like his main objective? Something big, right? Which makes me believe that paparazzi are majorly involved. Still got some nice sports cars, it looks like. Looks like we didn't do too bad for ourselves. So you're starring in another rom-com this spring. Good on you. Wow, Shin turned into an actor? Fuck no. Yeah, but I'd rather play some weirdo in an indie flick. Do you know what? That sounds a lot like Nicolas Cage. That sounds a lot like Nicolas Cage nowadays. He went from big Hollywood blockbuster roles to now just like being in loads of indie horror movies, just like playing bad guys and all sorts. I'm really looking forward to Long Legs, which I've heard good things about, which he plays the villain in. But yeah, he's in a lot of indie movies and such nowadays. Boo-hoo. You should just be glad they let you back in the biz. And the way he said this, that definitely makes me feel like his relationships have come out with Reira. That's probably what it is, right? That probably ended at least Trap Nest, but maybe ended Blast and Trap Nest. They let you back in the biz. What would keep him out of the biz? Knowing that he was a prostitute, underage prostitute, probably. And that's probably what ended Trap Nest, I imagine. Quite a few spoilers, or spoilers you could infer from things, these future segments, isn't there? I'm not sure how I feel about these, to be honest with you. Like, I definitely find it interesting. I felt we're getting a really good look at it now, and again, I'm not really sure how I feel about this. I liked it when we had like, I loved the ending episode of the anime. I thought that was actually just like a really good point to end off in general. The more I see these, the more I'm questioning like whether I want to see these, because again, first of all, it kind of slightly spoils upcoming events, like you know who's doing well, you know who's doing what, you know who's around, who's not around, and that does influence your thoughts on like where the story does go when we go back to the past. But I can't remember my other point, to be honest with you. I quite liked it when it was like, maybe I think this was my other point in terms of when we did get shown less of the future, it actually was more interesting than getting shown more, because we don't know as much. So you could have plenty of theories, and there's like thousands of possibilities of what could be going on. But again, now we've got a pretty good idea of where everyone's at and what everyone's doing. And I'm not sure I actually like that. I perhaps like it's one of those sci-fi things where actually kind of theorizing and just like not showing the answer is the more interesting thing to do. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this, to be honest with you. Like this, like the way this is said right here, it's like, oh well, we kind of know what happens now. That whole plot line in the past is now just like, we know how it ends, so that's kind of shit, right? This could be a translation thing. It might not translate exactly to this, who knows? But just from like first reading this, it's like, oh, thanks for spoiling that. I know. It's the only way I can make a living. I'm working hard, doing my best. How's Misato doing? Good. She wants to see everyone. You should have brought her over with you. Yeah, but Misato's busier than I am. I'm sure she's just being polite. Think so? She's overloads my schedule even more than Gin did. Okay, so she's still working with Blast members as well. That's pretty cool. I think it comes from one of those things that I'm not a big fan of prequels in general. I recently just finished. I haven't played the second one. I'm not playing the second one, but I've recently just finished Life is Strange, and I've got absolutely no interest in Life is Strange Before the Storm because I feel like I don't really want the answers. Like I feel like I wouldn't say it would ruin the story of Life is Strange, but I don't. I just see like it's fucking fantastic, by the way. I absolutely love the game. I'm currently playing the second one, which isn't nearly as good. I've only just finished the first episode, but already it's not nearly as good, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't really want to play Before the Storm because I think, again, in some cases, added context actually kind of negatively affects the story, which may sound very dumb to people, but in this, like, I just feel like it's being spoiled too much. Like, a little bit is less is more in terms of this. I think we're just seeing a bit too much of the future right now. I feel like. I hope this kind of ends soon. I imagine this is an unpopular opinion, but again, it's like being spoiled. It's like having something sweet, like, oh, a little taste of the end, because we know that this manga's on hiatus. Just like, oh, a little taste of the end, a little snippet of what the future holds for Nana and everyone else in the story, and that sweet was really nice. But now you're feeding us hundreds of sweets. And it's a little bit sickening. It's a little bit too much sugar in my bloodstream, and it's kind of killing me. A bit too much, I think. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Again, I imagine it's an unpopular opinion, but yeah. By the way, Misao said whoever left the tape and photos in the mailbox must be a member of the paparazzi still hunting down Nana. So that's amazing, isn't it? Even though she's like off the grid and blah seems to be no longer a thing, the paparazzi is still hunting her down for some reason, even across countries. There are high-res photos taken with a hidden camera with a telephoto lens. And normal people these days wouldn't use such lo-fi sound equipment to record anything. But reporters still use tape recorders on assignment. They're stuck in the Stone Ages. Well, I wondered about that too. But if you're a reporter, this is a big break. Why would they tell Nana instead of going public? You're right. Then who did it? It's also quite horrible. I think this is Karata that sent this. It's also quite horrible that even all these years later, Karata is still harassing Komatsu. Like, call the police, please. Komatsu, get a restraining order or something on this guy, please. And who did it? If we can figure that out, then maybe we can find her. There's no way to know unless the person comes forward. All we can do is just look for that pub. But if she's singing in public without a work visa, maybe she'll end up getting deported. We won't need to look for her then. Well, I hope we get a hold of her before something like that happens. Hachi thinks Ren secretly put that stuff in her mailbox. As a Christmas present. Because there's no money. Oh, because there's no chimney. Maybe. This next song was a huge hit back in 2001. Trap Nest. So what's Raver doing right now? Oh, that trap nest no longer seems to be a thing. Her whole life was singing. Wedding dress as well, by the way. Might just be for that video. Probably just for that video, but brings up the question. Doing trust. Hey, Hachi. So is that all there is to this chapter? Sorry guys, I'm just going to zoom ahead real quick. Yeah, we're almost finished. I feel like this has probably been one of my least favourite chapters thus far. Might be surprising to you guys, I don't know. But I don't know, I just not a big fan. Don't get me wrong, I love seeing them in the future. It's not for, I just like less of it. Too much, you're doing too much. Hey Hachi, I came here looking for a place to die. So why am I still here? There hasn't been much dialogue today either, has there? Oh, here is Ren. What a weird keyhole. The fuck? It's like a plunger. Weird keyhole that is. From Wifey. Ah. Shonen Jump. A shitload of Shonen Jump. Welcome home. I made miso soup. From Wifey. And she's naked under the apron. That is yeah, can't lie, that'd be pretty fucking awesome to come home to. Ren, you lucky guy. Ren, you lucky guy. Kind of reminds me of that photo of that Asian woman buying that PlayStation for her boyfriend. She's just like carrying it for him. Oh, what was you guys? So I guess we're back in the past. Yeah. It's also quite annoying in that, like, I'm saying, like, we're back in the past. Like, it's annoying now that we've got, like, now that we have to say that. Like, it's not a big thing, but it's like, why, like I mentioned earlier about learning about history, it's like, well, this is in the past, so, like, it feels like it matters less. Don't get me wrong, I don't feel like it fully, like, matters less, but I feel like some people would actually feel like, oh, well, we now know that these people are, like, okay and good in the future, so it like, yeah, it doesn't matter as much as to what we see in the future segments now. I don't know. Well, it's huge. Do I know these weirdos? Grow up, you freaks. Like Mary Poppins. See, like, it's crazy to think we go from this, like, the faces at where this concert's being held right here, the pure joy and like this, to again them all like no longer being in this business. Is it by choice? Is it by force? So this outfit really reminds me of what that girl from the fan club wears. I say that, it's probably the fact that the girl from the fan club is inspired by Osaki, but yeah. Is everyone here? Let's start the rehearsal. Sorry, Shin's not here yet. What? Where the hell is he? I had the set constructed early so you guys could start rehearsing today. We still have 15 more minutes, Matsuo. Don't worry. He said he left home half an hour ago. Oh no. Then you know he's going to be late. Home? Congratulations. You must be tired too, Mari. No, it was fun. It's going to be the best album ever. Yeah, thanks for everything. Oh yeah. I know you won't forget, but Blast is playing tomorrow at Yokohama Arena. I'll come get you at 4 so we don't have to rush around. But again, I do respect the fact that they do kind of like Trapnest and like Raver and such actually support Blast and like they get along pretty decently. You'd think two like major punk well, again, I don't really see Trapnest as like a punk band, but two kind of major Japanese bands going at it for like the #1 spot and such to be much more even if they are like childhood friends and so on, you would expect quite a bit more animosity, because that's just how things get when money's involved and agencies and companies are involved. That's how they make you feel, like everyone's your enemy, I imagine. Forget about it. Forget about it. What if I said don't go? You're going anyway, right? No matter who you fell in love with, you just couldn't give up. Honey, I'm home. Who are you? Why are you mad? I'm mad because you're so insensitive. You don't even know why I'm mad at you. Who are you? I love this look from Komatsu. She almost looks like a sheep, what she's wearing. Love that expression. I'm really bad at expressions, but I always kind of like when I go to record, I always kind of look like my left eyebrow's doing that anyway, to be honest with you. So maybe I don't actually even need to do anything. Hey, Hachi. Hey, Nana. Hey, Hachi, hey. When the salty air surrounds me, the sound of the waves beckons sweetly. Now you saved my life. How can I throw it away? When a sudden gust blows, accidents can happen. I chose this path of turmoil myself. But please, just for now, let the tour go well without any problems. And that is it. Again, not my favourite chapter today. Probably one of my least favourite chapters. Probably my least favourite chapter. Before this, there's never been a chapter I've been even average about. I've liked at least every chapter. This one, I wouldn't say I actively dislike it, but it definitely has been my least favourite chapter I've read, to be honest with you guys. Again, I'm just not a fan of seeing so much of the future. It's too much. Like, I love the little glimpses we got. I love the fact that you could like theorize and just like, yeah, you gave a speck of what we can expect in the future. When you give too much, it just feels, I don't know, I don't really know how to word it, but just let me know what you guys think, because I imagine it's quite the unpopular opinion. Again, there's a few nice moments between the guys, don't get me wrong, but yeah, not the biggest fan of this chapter. Do let me know again what you guys think in the comment section there. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you guys do like, and subscribe to the channel if you do want to keep up to date with my reactions. I'll be back next week with chapter 67, so I'll see you then. And I guess it did actually fit chapter 6-6, didn't it? The cursed chapter. It was pretty cursed actually. Not in the way I was expecting, but yeah. I'll see you guys then, and have a good rest of your day.